The voice of Darth Vader, James Earl Jones, was once a janitor. Before becoming an iconic actor, he worked as a janitor to pay the bills. Imagine cleaning floors one day and ruling the galaxy the next. The Mandalorian's baby Yoda was so secret that Disney didn't make toys before the show aired. They wanted to avoid spoilers, so no Baby Yoda merch was released until months later. That decision may have cost them millions, but it kept the surprise intact. The famous bullet dodge scene in The Matrix was inspired by anime. The Wachowskis wanted to bring anime-style action to live action, which led to the revolutionary bullet time effect. Now, it's one of the most copied action movie effects ever. Before becoming famous, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson was rejected by the Canadian Football League. He had only $7 in his pocket when he got cut, which inspired the name of his production company, $7 Productions. Safe to say he bounced back just fine. The iconic Wakanda Forever salute from Black Panther was inspired by African culture. Director Ryan Coogler said it was based on ancient Egyptian and West African symbols. Now it's a worldwide sign of pride and strength. The Titanic movie was so detailed that James Cameron had the china plates placed in the exact pattern they were found on the real shipwreck. He even had the water temperature match the freezing Atlantic. No wonder it feels so realistic. The Office was almost cancelled after its first season. Low ratings had NBC worried, but when the show hit Netflix years later, it became one of the most watched series of all time. Now it's hard to imagine TV without it. The Fast and Furious franchise was inspired by a magazine article. The story covered real illegal street racing in New York, and Universal Pictures saw it as the perfect idea for a movie. Over 2 decades later, the series is still going strong. The original Ghostbusters script featured time travel and was set in the future. It was supposed to be much weirder, but budget concerns forced the filmmakers to keep it grounded. Turns out, a simple ghost hunting business was all they needed for a classic. In The Dark Knight, Heath Ledger improvised the slow clap in the jail scene. The script didn't call for it, but he added it on the spot. That chilling moment made the Joker even more terrifying. The famous Coca-Cola Christmas truck from the commercials was so popular that it became a real tour. Every holiday season, the truck travels to different cities, spreading Christmas cheer. Who knew a soda ad could turn into a holiday tradition? The Game of Thrones showrunners hid real wolf puppies in their offices. To help the actors bond with their dire wolves, they let them interact with real wolf cubs during pre-production. That's method acting at its cutest. Ever wonder why the Simpsons characters are yellow? Creator Matt Groening chose yellow because it stood out when flipping through TV channels. Plus, he thought it would make them instantly recognizable. The Friends theme song wasn't originally supposed to be "I'll Be There For You" by the Rembrandts. The showrunners wanted "Shiny Happy People" by REM, but the band turned them down. Looks like that decision worked out just fine. The Marvel Cinematic Universe wasn't supposed to start with Iron Man. Marvel initially wanted to kick things off with Captain America or Thor, but Iron Man had fewer licensing restrictions. Turns out, Tony Stark was the perfect way to launch a billion-dollar franchise. How about this? The iconic Inception sound effect isn't a brass instrument. It's actually a slowed-down version of a song. The music is Non, Je ne regrette rien by Edith Piaf, which plays throughout the movie. Talk about mind-blowing. Tom Cruise does most of his own stunts in the Mission Impossible movies. He has scaled the tallest building in the world, hung off the side of a plane, and even performed a real high-altitude skydiving jump. At this point, he's basically a real-life action hero. The first Jurassic Park movie used a mix of CGI and practical effects. The famous T-Rex animatronic was so realistic that it once scared the crew when it moved unexpectedly. Imagine working late at night and suddenly seeing a dinosaur come to life. Did you know the voice of Mickey Mouse and the voice of Minnie Mouse were actually married in real life? Wayne Allwine, the voice of Mickey, and Russi Taylor, the voice of Minnie, were together for over 2 decades. Talk about a true Disney love story. The iconic "I am your father" line from Star Wars, The Empire Strikes Back, was a complete surprise to most of the cast. The script originally said Obi-Wan killed your father to keep the twist a secret. Even David Prowse, who played Darth Vader, didn't know the real line until the movie premiered. Before starring in John Wick, Keanu Reeves was once in a rock band called Dogstar. He played bass and toured with bands like Weezer in the 1990s. Turns out he's just as cool with a guitar as he is with a gun. The famous Jaws theme song was almost scrapped because producers thought it was too simple. John Williams had to convince them that the repetitive 2-note pattern would create suspense. Turns out it became one of the most terrifying movie scores ever. The Ghostbusters logo was originally designed to be temporary. The studio didn't think the no-ghost symbol would be iconic. Now, it's one of the most recognizable movie logos in history. The Marvel Cinematic Universe has a no-prize tradition from the comics. If a fan finds a plot hole and explains it in a way that makes sense, Marvel sometimes acknowledges their fix. Basically, fans are helping keep the universe consistent. The Pac-Man arcade game was inspired by a pizza. The game's creator, Toru Iwatani, saw a pizza missing a slice and thought it looked like a mouth. That simple idea turned into one of the most successful video games ever. The song Let It Go from Frozen was so powerful that it changed the movie's entire plot. Elsa was originally meant to be the villain, but after hearing the song, the writers rewrote her character into a hero. That's the power of a good anthem. The X-Files theme song was created by accident. Composer Mark Snow accidentally rested his elbow on the keyboard and triggered an eerie echo effect. That spooky sound became one of the most recognizable TV themes ever. James Cameron drew the famous portrait of Rose in Titanic. When Jack is sketching her, that's actually Cameron's hand doing the drawing. So, technically, the director is the one who drew her like one of his French girls. The iconic Spider-Man upside-down kiss almost didn't happen. Tobey Maguire was struggling to breathe with the rain pouring into his nose. But he powered through, and the moment became one of the most romantic scenes in superhero history. The famous Power Rangers fight scenes from the early seasons weren't actually filmed in America. Most of the battle footage came from a Japanese show called Super Sentai, and the American actors only filmed the unmasked scenes. That's why the action always looked a little different from the regular scenes. Did you know The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air was based on a true story? Music producer Benny Medina pitched the idea, inspired by his own experience of moving in with a wealthy family. Luckily, Will Smith brought it to life with his unforgettable charm. The original Toy Story had a very different version of Woody. He was written as a mean, sarcastic cowboy who bullied the other toys. Thankfully, Pixar reworked the character into the lovable leader we know today. Beyoncé's alter ego, Sasha Fierce, was created to help her overcome stage fright. She used to be shy about performing, so she invented a fearless, confident version of herself. Eventually, she felt strong enough to retire Sasha because she no longer needed her. The Harry Potter films almost had an entirely American cast. When Warner Brothers bought the film rights, they considered setting the movies in the US. Luckily, J.K. Rowling insisted that the cast and setting remain British. The famous Wilhelm Scream sound effect has been used in over 400 movies. It was first recorded in 1951 for a film called Distant Drums. Since then, it's been heard in everything from Indiana Jones to Toy Story. The famous Friends coffee shop, Central Perk, was almost set outdoors. The producers originally wanted a park setting, but it was too expensive and complicated to film. So they moved it inside, and now it's one of the most famous TV locations ever. The Hunger Games salute became a real-world symbol of resistance. Protesters in Thailand, Myanmar, and Hong Kong have used the three-finger salute as a sign of defiance. Who knew a dystopian movie would inspire real activism? The T-Rex roar in Jurassic Park was made from unexpected sounds. The sound designers mixed recordings of an elephant, a tiger, and an alligator. Next time you hear it, just imagine an angry elephant pretending to be a dinosaur. The first ever music video played on MTV was Video Killed the Radio Star by the Buggles. It was aired on August 1st, 1981. Ironically, the song predicted how the video would change the music industry forever. The Delorean in Back to the Future was originally supposed to be a refrigerator. The filmmakers worried that kids might try to climb into real fridges, so they changed it to a car. Now, the Delorean is one of the most iconic movie vehicles ever. The famous Harry Potter train station, Platform 934, now has a real-life photo spot in London. Fans can visit King's Cross Station and take a picture pushing a luggage cart through the wall. If only we could actually get to Hogwarts that way. The original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles comic was much darker than the cartoons. It was originally created as a parody of gritty comics like Daredevil. Who knew the pizza-loving turtles started out as serious crime fighters? Shrek's Scottish accent was not the original plan. Mike Myers first recorded all his lines with a normal voice, but later decided to redo them with an accent. That decision made Shrek even more iconic. The Avengers Endgame battle scene was filmed without most actors knowing who they were fighting. Marvel used stand-ins and CGI placeholders to prevent spoilers from leaking. Even the actors had to watch the final cut to see how it all came together. The Game of Thrones showrunners originally wanted each episode to be a feature-length movie. HBO said no, which turned out to be a great decision. A full-length show allowed more time to build its epic story. The first Super Mario Bros. Movie in 1993 was so bad that Bob Hoskins, who played Mario, later called it the worst thing he ever did. He even admitted he didn't know it was based on a video game until his son told him. At least the new animated version got it right. Lady Gaga got her stage name from the Queen song Radio Gaga. Her producer misheard her saying it over the phone and called her Lady Gaga instead. She loved it so much she kept it.